So for this video, we will be creating this circular tornado cloud type of effect. I'm not even sure how to describe it, but it is pretty nice, and it's also very easy to do. So let's get started. I'll start off by clicking on File, New, and I'll leave the defaults here, 500 by 500 pixels, with the background contents of white, and I'll click OK. I'm going to click on Control J to duplicate the layer first of all, and then we'll go into Filter, Render Clouds, and what this filter does is generate a random pattern of clouds, and it gives a pretty good result. And just a little tip before we continue: if I click on Control, actually let me just start a new file New, and click OK. And if you're looking for a more starker type of a cloud effect, what you can do is you can hold down the Alt and then click on Filter, Render, and then Clouds, and you'll notice the difference. It actually has much more contrast compared to the original image. So just a little tip. I mean, we don't actually need this for our tutorial, but just an FYI. So I'm going to go back to the tutorial here. So we've done the filter render. Next, we're going to go into filter once again, render, difference clouds this time. And we're going to go ahead and click on Control I to invert. And so far this tutorial looks a lot like lightning tutorials that you may have seen. The steps are similar as of now. Next we're going to click on Control L for the levels adjustment, and I'm just going to move the mid-tone slider all the way to the right pretty much, or let's say around 11 is fine. So you see that if you're doing a lightning tutorial, you can starting to get the lightning strikes here. Okay, next we're going to give some color to the image. So we're going to go into Image Adjustments, and let's see, we can use Color Balance. Now you can pretty much choose any color that you want, because I will show you later on how to actually modify the color very easily once we're finished with the cloud pattern. For the time being, I'm just going to grab the magenta and put it like so, and then we'll play with the yellow as well, and give this a nice blue color. I'm going to click OK. The next step is really to work on the blur of the edges that we saw of the pattern. So to do that, we're going to go into Filter, Blur, Radial Blur, and I'm going to make sure it's set to Zoom actually, and we'll make the quality the best, and we'll just that's a bit too much. Let's go back down to maybe 30. I'll click OK. And you should have something like this. Looks pretty nice. I'm going to click on Control J to duplicate the layer. And we'll change the blend mode to something that will lighten it. So let's try Screen, Lighten. Let's keep it to lighten. And now we're going to work on the twirl effect. So this will be the first of many times we'll be applying this filter. So we'll go into Filter and Distort, and we'll click on Twirl, and put this guy around let's say around 320. Click OK. And I'm going to merge back down, so you can right click and click merge down, or press Control E alternatively. Next we're going to do the same thing that we just did, so Control J, and click on lighten for the mode, and go back to Filter, Distort, and Twirl. And you can just play around with it. I mean, you can either go on the positive side or on the negative side completely. Let's just try to change it up and put this guy all the way at negative 700. Maybe let's say 650. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to go through this process one more time. So I'm going to click Control E to merge down, and Control J to duplicate, Filter, Distort, and Twirl one last time. And let's go back to the positive side this time. Let's try 400 and click OK. That's looking pretty nice. And I'm going to click on Control E to merge down one last time, and this is pretty much the effect as you see here. If you want to change the color, you can just go to, you can double click on the right hand side, you can go over to Color Overlay and change the blend mode to Color, and you can easily just change the colors now. If you want a fiery red, I think I like the red. I'm just going to play with the opacity, bring it down, cool it off a little bit here. Click OK, and there's your effect. So with this tutorial, there's a lot of room for playing around. You can render clouds at the beginning, at the first step, numerous times. What you can also do is create one more blur. So you can go into Filter, Blur, and let's go to let's try Radial Blur one more time, and let's see if we can switch this over to Spin. And let's just bring this down quite a bit. Let's put it to 9. Click OK. And you can get this effect where you're really blurring the sides and you're putting more emphasis on the center of the image. And it gives it a more ethereal look to it.